Next, the House of Hope presents an Evening of Hope coming up March 8th. This is an organization in the Pee Dee area, and I know that we have a lot of listeners who are from the Pee Dee area, so I wanted to have them on to talk about their upcoming event and the services that they provide in the Pee Dee area. I have Bryan Braddock, the executive director. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the people around town, but also to speak to our friends in Columbia.
Yes. So the House of Hope has been in existence how long?
Over 30 years, since the early 90s.
That's awesome. And you've been doing a lot of work for the Pee Dee area, serving not only men, women, but children as well. So tell us a little bit about your mission.
So the House of Hope, like I said, has been around for over 30 years. We serve in a couple of different capacities. We do serve the needs of the homeless in our region, and that is homeless men, women, and children. We have an emergency shelter, which provides that safe place, food, shelter, clothing for temporary, maybe up from 0 to 30 days. And then we look to transition, find out what's going on in the situation, and then transition people to long-term care. One of our other facilities is our men's transitional program. We call it the Life Recovery Program. And that is a 9 to 12 month program for homeless men to transition them to full employment, into independent living. And we're in the right in the middle of a project to build 24 tiny homes, which will be long-term transitional for men, women, children, and families. So we hope to be like a 0 to 2 year program. So someone could walk off the street, but in 2 years they could transition into independence. And
so back up. What exactly is a tiny house?
So a tiny house is a home that really just meets those bare necessities. There's a couch, there's a table, there's a microwave, toaster, bed, bathroom, but it is small. It's around 300 square feet. But the goal is to offer dignity. A lot of times when people are homeless, they go to the shelter, and the shelter, a homeless shelter just has that connotation. You know what I mean? That image, you get this image in your mind of what that is. Well, we want to minister to families in the home environment. You know how when you shut the door and you just relax? Mm-hmm. Well, that's the environment that we want to be able to minister to the people in need. And so it's a tiny home. When you see it, when you visualize it, you'll see the tiny, but it does meet all the needs. But it provides privacy, dignity, and just an opportunity for them to see the future by having this first step of having their own home.
That is a great idea, too. Instead of being like in a can of sardines, so to speak, with bed upon bed, and you don't have any privacy. I'm going to have to see these little tiny houses.
Yeah, you got to come by and check it out. We have a model home out front, and we're actually in the process of building 24. So it'll be a whole community. It's very exciting.
Okay, and how are you funded?
So we are funded by gifts from local individuals, churches, businesses, foundations. Also, we have an event called the Evening of Hope, which you mentioned, and we have a thrift store operation. So all of our funding is from individuals and through those other two events in the store.
Okay, now remind me to get back to that thrift store too. But let's talk about the Evening of Hope. You've had some pretty heavy hitters in the past, and this year you're bringing none other than Tebow, and he has a place in Columbia because he played for the Fireflies, and so he's pretty much earned a big hole in our hearts. So I was really excited to hear that he'll be coming to Florence. So tell us all about your event.
Yeah, so the Evening of Hope is an annual event, and we've been very fortunate to have some great speakers come. Tebow coming this year, but basically it's an evening opportunity for us to share about the ministry, share the plans for the upcoming year for the ministry, and then for people to hear stories of individuals who have been, their lives have been transformed by our ministry. So we try to entertain, bring a good drawing speaker to motivate and encourage people, like I know Tim will do, challenge people, but then also give, an overview of the House of Hope ministry as well.
All right. Tell us about tickets and prices.
All right, so tickets are available through Ticketmaster. They're $25 a piece, so you can go on Ticketmaster and you can look up House of Hope, Evening of Hope with Tim Tebow. And then we also have table sponsorships. So there will be a dinner, and you can sponsor a table of 8, beginning at $2,000 up to presenting sponsor level of $15,000. And that will include dinner, sponsorship, and you'll get recognition throughout the program as well.
All right. And again, you're saying that the proceeds benefit, it just goes right back to the House of Hope to help you with your organizational structure.
Correct. Our operations, mainly our operations, 100% of the profits from that event will impact the homeless locally.
Okay, so that brings us back to the thrift store, because that is another arm of how you get funding. And this is a way that people can partner with you, as well as going to your Evening of Hope. But it's another way of being able to partner with you year round. So tell us about your thrift store.
Yeah, our mission, we call it the Mission Mart, our thrift store. It helps us in so many ways. One, it's a starter program for our residents and guests, the people who come in our program, to be reintroduced to the work field. So we have people that work there. It also is a first touch for donors, people locally who aren't giving financially, but have some clothes or couch furniture where they can give. And so they can do that. We also have several volunteers from local region who participate. But the Mission Mart, 100% of the proceeds go to benefit our organization. And we also give gift cards to people in need, where they can shop at the Mission Mart and do it with dignity. They have a gift card, they go there, they get what they need, and they just check out like that. So it serves in so many different capacities.
All right. Tell us also how you're handling your operations through COVID. I know that, we have all the social distancing restrictions in place. So how are people getting the items to you?
Yeah. So we, one thing with COVID, we had 2 thrift stores, and we had to close one of them due to COVID, just when it hit and the shutdown and all that. So we lost one of our stores. We have still one on Irby Street. But people, when they donate, they drop it off, and then our staff has masks, gloves, everything like that to go through the process of organizing the donations and then putting them on the floor. They do go through a holding period before they hit the floor. So there is a 72-hour window where the items will be sorted, price tagged, and then they'll go on the floor. Okay. We also have, everyone wears masks. We got barriers between the cashier. We have spacing at the cash register and stuff like that as well.
If someone knows of a person in the Pee Dee area who needs help or would like to get more information about your organization, tell them where you're located and how they can find you on social media.
Yeah, the best way is on social media, Facebook, House of Hope of the Pee Dee. And then our website is pretty simple, www.hofh.org, as in House of Hope, H of H. But we have locations, emergency shelter on Church Street, and then our long-term program on Darlington Street in Florence. For those who are local, you could come straight to our actual facility to get checked in, if you're in need. But most people find us online or on social media. We have a pretty strong social media presence.
All right. Is there anything else you would like the audience to know about House of Hope before we go?
Yeah, that, first and foremost, we are a faith-based Christian ministry. So we look to, our mission is to show the love of Christ to those in need by providing them food, shelter, clothing, Christian discipleship, a process of gaining their independence, but growing them closer to the Lord as well, is our goal by showing His love for them.
All right. Again, Bryan Braddock, Executive Director. So great to meet you and talk with you about your organization. Wish you well with the Evening of Hope. Tickets are on sale now for March 8th at the Florence Center.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you for the time and the opportunity.